Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are going to read about Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj on the 23rd of November this year is the disappearance day of Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj. I'm just recording this separately, not as a part of our Srimad Bhagavatam class. So I'll just read about Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The next in the parampara after and is an associate of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a great Paramahamsa Babaji by the name of Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj. Technically, he was the disciple of Bhagavata Dasa Babaji Maharaj, who was a disciple of Jagannatha Dasa Babaji Maharaj. In 1897, Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj came to Mayapur Navadvip Dham from Shri Vrindavana Dham, where he was accredited the exalted title Bhajananandi. Srila Bhaktivinoda Kedarnath Datta, seeing the transcendental behavior of Babaji Maharaj, would use him as an example of nirapeksha, indifference, as his level of renunciation was beyond belief. This Vaishnava saint's life was an example of utter humility and poverty, the true attributes of a Vaishnava. Gaura Kishora never accepted any material object from anyone. For his clothing, he used the discarded loin cloths from corpses left on the bank of the Ganges. For food, he would collect rice by begging, soak it in river water, and garnish it with salt and chili. He never asked favors from anyone and lived a fully detached life devoid of all possessions. Very little information is available about the past life of Gaura Kishora, except that he was born in a Vaishya family in the village of Bhajana near Tepakola on the bank of the Padma. As a householder, Gaura Kishora was known by the name Vamsidas, different from Vamsidas Babaji. Bansidas. As a householder, his name was Bansidas, different from Vamsidas Babaji. At that time, he was engaged in some agricultural trade, and from the income, took care of his wife and family honestly. After the death of his wife, Gaura Kishora renounced his home and went to Vrindavana, where he was initiated into Vairagi Vesh by Bhagavata Dasa Babaji, one of the foremost disciples of Jagannatha Dasa Babaji. Srila Gaura Kishora lived on Madhukari, begging, and slept beneath a tree. He would lie prostrate, offering his humble obeisances to the residents of Vraja, considering them as embodiments of Lord Krishna. He even offered his obeisances to the flowers, trees, and land around him. He spent about 30 years at Vrajamandal, serving the deities there. Afterwards, perhaps by the direction of the Supreme Lord, he left for Navadvip. During his stay at Navadvip, Gaur Kishore underwent various transformations of spiritual moods. Sometimes he danced on the bank of the Ganges, chanting Gaura, Gaura, while at other times he would lie on the ground in an unconscious state. He joyfully moved throughout the groves located on the bank of the Ganges, considering them sites of the divine sports of Sri Sri Radha-Govinda. His only clothing was a strip of cloth around his waist, and often went totally naked. He chanted japa on beads, or sometimes knotted a cloth and used that as a substitute for japa beads. Occasionally he went to Godrum Dweep to listen to Bhaktivinoda Thakur recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Babaji Maharaj would often visit Bhaktivinoda. During his last days in retirement, absorbed in Krishna Katha, he would hear Srimad Bhagavatam at Bhaktivinoda's house, and they would discuss together. Though Babaji Maharaj could neither read nor write, he was regarded as vastly learned and self-realized. His only possessions were the tulsi beads around his neck and the japa mala he kept in his hand. Sometimes he wore no tulsi mala on his neck and would chant on knotted cloth as beads. Such was his renunciation. Sometimes he would live under an old, broken, overturned boat, and other times he would scatter fish bones around, a place he occasionally used as his bhajan kutir, to make materialists think he was a fish eater, and thus they would not disturb him. But by his pure bhajan, he purified the three worlds. He was the guru of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, the founder of the Chaitanya Maths and Gaudiya Maths. In 1898, when Bhaktivinod's son, who was now residing in Godrumadweep in Navadvip Dham, came in contact with the person who was to be his spiritual master, Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj, the crest jewel of Avaduts, was wearing a tiger skin hat and carrying a basket with puja paraphernalia inside. He offered the boy 4 or 5 pieces of rope for chanting his rounds on, and a tilak stamp for marking the body with Hare Krishna carved on it. Bhaktivinoda later told his son, "You must take initiation from Babaji Maharaj, and don't return to this house if you don't." Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji used to walk across a bridge at the same time daily. So on one occasion, Bhaktivinoda's son, Siddhanta Saraswati, blocked his path and in all humility said, "If you don't give me initiation, then I will finish my life by throwing this useless body off this bridge." Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj didn't want any disciples. He himself had taken Shiksha from Bhaktivinoda, and this was Bhaktivinoda's dear son. Siddhanta Saraswati told him how his father had instructed him to become Babaji Maharaj's disciple or not return home. So in 1900, Babaji Maharaj gave him the name Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Das. He then gave his new initiate the tiger skin hat and basket that had been given to Gaur Kishore by his spiritual master Bhagavata Dasa Babaji, which he in turn had received from Jagannatha Dasa Babaji. In 1908, Gaur Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj lost his external eyesight, so he then stopped traveling and just chanted and performed worship of Krishna. Being aloof from external consciousness, sometimes he would not dress his body. Instead, he would sit in his bhajan kutir, internally absorbed in Krishna's pastimes, and in a very deep voice be heard calling the names of the gopis of Vrindavana. Once, Srila Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Das, Siddhanta Saraswati, offered to take Babaji Maharaj to Calcutta to see an eye specialist, but he refused, saying, "Never. I will never go to the material world. His disciple protested, but in Calcutta I could serve you nicely. You wouldn't have to undergo any inconvenience. But Babaji Maharaj was adamant, declaring, I will never accept this service. Better I throw myself in the Saraswati, Jalangi, and drown. Once Babaji Maharaj turned up at the Yog Pit, Lord Chaitanya's birthplace, at 2 in the morning. Amazed, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati inquired how he got there in the pitch black of night. Babaji Maharaj replied, Someone brought me here. Who could have brought you such a distance at this time? Inquired Bhaktisiddhanta. Finally, his mind concluded, it must have been Krishna who personally brought you here, or else, how did you cross the Ganges? How did you find your way across the dark fields? But Babaji Maharaj would not answer more than, one person brought me across the river. That's all. One day, Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj wrapped his body with body and 2 feet. One day, Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj wrapped his body and 2 feet with a cloth. Sitting covered like this, he said, many persons, after being informed by others, come here to collect the dust from my feet. I tell them I am not a Vaishnava. If you go to the vicinity where there are Vaishnavas with their feet pretentiously decorated and extended to touch, you can have unlimited dust. How can I bless you? I don't have barfi or sandesh or rasgulla or even sweet words. How can I bless you? Nowadays, people are interested in spiritual masters who can give these things: wealth, good wife, sweet words. These cheating things are now taken as anukula, favorable. Every virtuous person looked forward to rendering service to Srila Gaura Kishora. However, he rarely allowed anyone the chance to serve him. Once, Manindra Chandra Nandi, the Maharaj of Kasim Bazar, sent a distinguished messenger to escort Gaur Kishore to the former's palace. Gaur Kishore, however, did not accept the Maharaj's invitation, saying that if he visited the palace, he may feel tempted by the wealth of the Maharaj, which may result in a strained relation between the two. Hence, Gaur Kishore suggested that instead of him visiting the palace, let the Maharaj free himself completely from the shackles of wealth by donating everything he owned to his relatives and then come to live with Gaur Kishore in a specially prepared shed where both of them could practice Hari Bhajan in peace. Srila Gaur Kishore was very selective about accepting invitations for food. He believed that partaking of food here and there could adversely affect the spiritual life of a devotee. Once, a devotee named Haren Babu partook of prasad offered at the festival held at Bhajan Kutir at Navadvip. For this, Gaur Kishore stopped communicating with Haren for 3 days. On the 4th day, Gaur Kishore explained that the prasad of the above festival had been financed by a woman of questionable profession, a pumschari, one who is moved by other men. Once, on the eve of Sanatan Goswami's disappearance day, Gaur Kishore decided to celebrate the occasion. The devotee attending him asked who would provide them with the materials for the celebration. I'll read it again. Once, on the eve of Sanatan Goswami's disappearance day, Gaur Kishore decided to celebrate the occasion. So this is Guru Purnima. The devotee attending him asked who would provide them with the materials for the celebration. Srila Gaur Kishore replied, remember not to speak to anyone about it. We shall miss a meal and continue around the clock chanting the holy name. This could be the typical festival for those of us who have taken the vow of poverty. So their feast would be just chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours. They would be feasting on the Mahamantra. Narendra Kumar Sen, a resident of Agartala, Tripura, once approached Gaur Kishore to learn about Guru Pranali or Siddha Pranali. Gaur Kishore told him, the Supreme Lord cannot be realized through worldly knowledge. Only through the chanting of the holy name can the true nature of the Lord be revealed. As the Lord is revealed from the letters comprising the Nama, the devotee gradually begins to understand his own nature and becomes acquainted with seva. Once a physician told Gaur Kishore that he intended to move to Navadvip and take up charitable practices. Gaur Kishore advised the physician that if he truly desired to live in Navadvip, then he should give up the plan for a charitable practice because it would only encourage materially minded people to save money. Those who sincerely practiced Hari Bhajan should never get distracted by the chains of welfare activities. A young seeker wearing only a kopin once stayed with Gaur Kishore for some days. Later, he arranged through the agency of an employee of a female estate owner to obtain 5 katthas of land as a donation from the woman. When Gaur Kishore heard about this, he was extremely annoyed. Navadvip Dham is beyond this material world. How can a worldly land owner dare to hold land here and even think he can donate 5 katthas out of it? A mere grain of sand of the transcendental Navadvip is more valuable than all the precious gems in this world put together. Moreover, how advanced could this young kopin-clad devotee be if he dares to collect so much land in lieu of his bhajan merit? Once a devotee offered some sweets to Lord Gauranga and then took the offering to Gaur Kishore, urging him to partake of it. Gaur Kishore told the devotee, those who are non-vegetarian, those who commit adultery or offer food to Lord Gauranga with a particular motive, their offerings never reach Lord Gauranga and are never sanctified as prasad. Srila Gaura Kishora regularly begged for um, one second. Srila Gaura Kishora regularly begged for rice, after which he would cook the rice, offer it, and partake of the prasad. He never touched any foodstuff offered by someone else. Okay? He would beg the rice, cook it himself, offer it to the Lord, and then he would take that prasad. But he would never touch any food which is offered by others. Once during monsoon, Gaur Kishore stayed in the rest house at Fulia, Navadvip. Some prasad was left in a vessel for him to respect later. Meanwhile, a snake passed by the vessel and a woman there happened to notice it. When Gaur Kishore sat down to take prasad, the woman appeared there and informed him about the snake. Gaur Kishore, however, firmly stated that he would not touch the prasad until the woman left. After the woman left, Gaur Kishore said, look how Maya works. Taking the form of compassion, Maya attempts to hit deep into her target slowly. Maya can assume countless forms. She always prevents a mortal being from practicing Hari Bhajan. Giri Babu and his wife once ardently requested Gaur Kishore to stay in their house at Navadvip. Gaur Kishore was moved by their sincere devotion and finally agreed to oblige them on the condition that he would live only in their toilet room where he would perform Hari Bhajan. Giri Babu tried to persuade him to change his mind, but Gaur Kishore remained firm. Giri Babu reluctantly arranged to have the toilet thoroughly cleaned and Gaur Kishore used it for Hari Bhajan. A realized soul can practice Hari Bhajan anywhere in an unconcerned manner, and wherever he resides, that place becomes Vaikuntha. Srila Gaur Kishore was a highly spiritually advanced soul. He never allowed deceitful practices or any discussion which was not within the purview of the holy books. One day, when a devotee questioned Gaur Kishore about a well-known reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam who was in the habit of chanting Gaura Gaura, Gaur Kishore remarked, "He doesn't say Gaura Gaura. Rather, what he means to say is more, more, money, money. Those who recite Srimad Bhagavatam for payment are not entitled to chant the name of the Supreme Lord." Srila Gaura Kishore never delivered discourses openly, yet his spotless character drew everyone to him. Upon meeting Gaura Kishore, even a staunch materialist would become inclined to take up Hari Bhajan. On 22nd June 1914, Bhaktivinoda Thakur passed from this world into his samadhi, deep meditation on Lord Krishna in Bhakti Bhavan, and then on November 17, 1915, Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj, on the auspicious Utthana Ekadasi, also left this world. His body was placed into a samadhi tomb. But 16 years later, due to flooding, the samadhi had to be moved. There was a clamor of local Babajis trying to claim the samadhi, but the bold Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Varshabhanavi Devi Daitadas, told everyone frankly, "I am the only disciple of Paramahamsa Babaji Maharaj. Even though I have not accepted sannyas, I am a celibate brahmachari, and by the grace of Babaji Maharaj, I am not secretly addicted to abominable habits or involved in fornication, as some monkey-like people are. If there is someone amongst the people here present who is a renunciate of stainless character, then he can have Babaji Maharaj's samadhi. We have no objection to that. He who within the last year or the last 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, or at least within the last 3 days has not had illicit connection with a woman will be able to touch this spiritual blissful body. If anyone else touches it, he will be completely ruined." Hearing these words, the inspector of police who had come to judge for a fair and honest decision said, "How will evidence be had for this?" Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati replied, "I have faith in their word." At this, one by one, all the bogus Babajis slipped away without a word. So that was on this day, the disappearance day of Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj. Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj ki jai. The disappearance day of Srila Gaura Kishora Dasa Babaji Maharaj ki jai. So it is a day of fasting, half day fasting until noon, and at noon we do Pushpanjali. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.